I really wanted to make more money this year and like really get more organized. And I knew I had to bust it and like really treat it like a business and like figure out all the numbers instead of, running it as a hobby.
If you started making jewelry as a hobby and you started selling that jewelry and kind of transitioning into growing a business, and then as time, your business starts to grow and you're not quite sure how to transition from hobby mode into business mode and really scale and get to that next level, well, this episode is for you. Hey there, I'm Tracy Matthews. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish and Thrive Academy and the host of the Thrive by Design podcast. And for the past 12 years, I've been helping jewelry business owners launch, grow, and scale successful 5, 6, and 7-figure jewelry businesses from their jewelry hobby using my methodology called the Desired Brand Effect. So if you're someone who wants to make a big impact this year and you're ready to take your hobby to the next level, then listen to this episode. You're going to enjoy it. Today, I'm interviewing Audrey Allman. She started her jewelry business after her sister died, unfortunately, because her sister loved jewelry and she wanted to carry on that legacy. You're going to hear a lot more about her story in this episode. So let's dive right in. But before I do, I wanted to remind you that if you want more jewelry business tips and education, and you're ready to really take your business to the next level, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that you click that little notification bell, and that you share with us your most key takeaways from this episode in the comments below. All right, let's dive in. Well, I am so excited to have a very special guest on the show today, Audrey Allman. Audrey, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. This is so fun.
I'm so excited to have you for a specific reason. We're going to talk about your success and all the things that are going on, but I love talking to our students who have taken one program and then gone on to the next program and then gone on to the next program. And then they just keep growing and growing up, I guess, with Flourish and Thrive Academy, which is amazing. And we were talking about Coach Chelsea and you're like, yeah, she's one of the reasons why I stay in this program. So just shout out to Chelsea because she was just on the podcast too. So thanks for being here.
Oh, this is so fun. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd get to do a podcast episode.
How did you find Flourish and Thrive Academy in the first place? Do you know?
Instagram.
Oh, you did?
I did. Scrolling through, found your ad, and I was like, oh, this is like real. And like, I did like the challenges and like listen to the podcast. And I was like, and my friend, we would listen to it in the studio while we were working. And my friend who helps me, she's like, Audrey, this is what we need. This. And I was like, I know this is like a jewelry business class and no one ever teaches you this. So
I love it. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So I'm glad to hear that our ads are working and that our Instagram is working. Sometimes you put all this stuff out there and you work so hard on content and then, you're not sure if anyone's listening. I mean, you get some likes and stuff like that, but it does seem like it.
Yes. No, it worked.
Now, enough about us. Tell me a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about your journey into starting a jewelry company and a little bit about your background.
All right. So it started it started when my sister passed away. I went to see a counselor because I wasn't dealing with the grief very well.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. It's been 21 years, so it's still hard, but at the same time, like we still talk about her all the time. And my kids always ask about her. And it's fun because they're like, why do you do jewelry? And I was like, well, Whitney loved jewelry and that's my sister. And she loved traveling and she would collect jewelry from like all of her travels. And it was pretty much, the counselor was like, you need a hobby. And I was like, well, I'm in school. She goes, you have too much time on your hands. Like you need to do something. And she was like, do something to honor your sister or do something you love. And so, I kept seeing this jewelry in these stores and I was like, I can do this. Like Whitney would want me to do this. Like she knew, she could do this with me if she was here still. Yeah. So I kind of dug into that and was in the art school at Georgia and ended up taking fun jewelry classes and learning how to like do all the metal smithing and all that, which I haven't gotten to do, but I haven't had enough space and time, but that's a goal in like the next 3 years is to do that. So but yeah, that's how it kind of got started. I taught after college and then had children and didn't make a ton of sense to go back. And my husband's like, you're making almost more money selling jewelry to like wholesale stores randomly and to friends. So why don't you just do that as a side gig to make more money and you can stay home with the kids? And so that's kind of what I've been doing since. So like, it has been kind of a hobby until, recently when the kids were in school more full time and it started to ramp up more and more, I kind of figured out, I finally figured that I needed to like make this a real legit like business.
Yeah.
So as opposed to
Well,
more of a hobby.
what's really interesting is the interview that I just did. It's going to be coming out the week before this goes live, I think, or close to that. Is a whole interview about building a jewelry side hustle because people like you who are moms, you're trading off like, does it make sense for us to get daycare versus like me staying home and trying to do something where I can make the same amount of money, the offsetting the cost. Like I know that this is a decision that a lot of young moms have to decide on. Like, do I go and pursue a career and then put half my paycheck towards childcare or something else? It's a real
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, no, that's exactly what it was. I mean, we ran the numbers and he was like, you're going to make more money selling your jewelry, which is so crazy to think about. But
I know my sister and I were talking about this because she has a great job, but she was kind of at a crossroads and she's like, we have this great nanny, we love her, and it's only 6 years and I feel like I'm like missing their
mhm,
childhood, all these things. And so I know I don't know personally because I don't have my children out of my own body, but like I do
yeah,
understand the struggle that young moms go through when they're or moms with young kids, I guess is maybe a better way to put it, or young moms, all of it. Random. That they go through when like trying to make this decision because it is a tough one, and I think most mothers would love to spend time with their kids when they're young.
yeah. I mean, I was one of those that like the kids, once they were babies, when they would nap, I would just go down and make jewelry or put them to bed. They go to bed at
Mhm.
like 6 or 7 at night, hang out with my husband some, and then go make jewelry or just sit there on the couch while he's watching football and make jewelry. It
Yep.
was it was fun. It was like an outlet, it kept me sane and I enjoyed it. And it was, got to see and sell to friends and do like home shows and, would sell at like our little play groups or go to different play groups and sell like, so the kids would be there playing and the moms would be trying on jewelry and, having a drink of wine, glass of wine and just enjoying each other's company. It was like a fun way to get to know new moms too.
And be social.
Yeah. And, go, share all of our stories, what's working, what's not, all that kind of stuff.
It's so great. How are you selling your jewelry now?
So I'm selling online and still selling to stores pretty much in the Southeast and doing wholesale through that. So it's kind of an in-person shows. I've picked those back up, especially this year, just trying to build my email list. I've done this for 13 years and I never had an email list.
Gosh. Well, get started now. I mean, there's so
I
many, I'm
mean,
sure you learned a lot of strategies, but
yes, I had one from like, Shopify. People would just randomly
Mhm.
sign up and I didn't even know it was like collecting them. Like,
Oh,
and
lucky
yeah,
you.
it was like kind of a newsletter, but people would sign, they'd sign up for the marketing. And so I had all those emails. So randomly, but I never sent out emails. So they just signed up and never got an email.
I love that. So you mentioned when we were talking in the pre-interview and like the notes that I was going through as I was developing some questions for you, that when you first started your business, you were kind of treating it like a hobby. Tell me a little bit about that and what has transitioned for you.
So I guess the biggest thing is I've always had a Shopify account. So that's been like
Mhm.
the number one, the easiest thing for me was as soon as it started, my friend pretty much did the whole website design and everything for me, which was great and helpful. She like helped me kind of come up with the brand. And then it kind of stayed still for like forever. The website didn't really change. I was just able to add to it and take away. And whenever I needed help, I would just send her an email and she'd do it for me. Well, it got to a point where she got really busy and I got busier and busier and needed certain and more things done on the website. And like, she couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And so I was kind of like stuck. So for a while it was like kind of, and I was like, it's fine. I've got these kids. Like, I don't really have time to grow. This is still like, very much a side hustle. It was, something that I like enjoyed doing that kept me sane, but I wasn't like trying to grow the business or,
Yeah.
I was just kind of making to make and posting on Instagram and it would sell and stores would email me and be like, we'd love to carry you. And I was like, great, that'd be awesome. Do a trunk show here and there. But it was mainly like to get out and see people, was to do the shows
Mhm.
more than anything. And so that's, I guess that's how it was more of a hobby for me than like a real, I get, and some people were like, you have a business. And I was like, I mean, kind of, but I get to still see my kids and like play with it. It's like I wasn't taking away from my kids' time. So I guess that's why I thought of it more as like a hobby. But I wasn't like, some of my friends, you know, take hour-long gym classes and do tennis and stuff. And that's never been me. Like I've always been creative and artistic, and I'm not competitive. So like that's
You're like,
not,
tennis does not sound fun.
no, I was like, that's not like, it's not for me. I mean, I love being outdoors and hiking and all that, like running and, but the classes with sweaty other people and tennis courts are just not, I don't know.
So how's that?
Everyone's different. And this is like, this is more my outlet, I guess,
I
than,
love that. Well, how are things different now? Like what's different about how you treat and approach the business?
I guess I think more of it as like, I'm doing more planning, and I'm doing more like reaching out to customers and like really trying to like nurture, like just like take care of them, like,
Yeah.
remember what they've bought. So like when their husband or mom comes to shop for them, I can be like, oh, they already have this. They've mentioned they maybe want this, or I think this would really go. Like just really try to like hang on to the customers that I have. And
Yeah.
a lot of them are friends or friends of friends. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm more intentional now than like, I feel like before it was like real loosey goosey. And now I have more of a plan, like an email, flow and, text messaging. Never had that. Like I've now got that going, and it's fun. My friends are like, we just got your text, like it'll ding and I'll be at something with them. It's like ding, ding, ding. Like,
So are you doing it like through something like Klaviyo or something along those lines?
yes. Klaviyo
Okay.
has been amazing. Yes.
Okay. I love
Y'all
that.
taught me that. So that's been super helpful. Helps streamline everything tremendously. So
So what I'm hearing, I'm just going to reflect this back to you that being a part of laying the foundation, I didn't mention this, but you are a graduate of, or actually I did mention it earlier on, but you're a graduate of several of our programs, and you currently just joined our Momentum program and started with us with our laying the foundation program, which is awesome. And you said that it's helped you get a little bit more organized, help you kind of treat things, create more structure in your business and get you to a place where you're planning a little bit more.
yes.
And you're using some of the tools and building an email list and doing some of the things that we tell you to do all the time.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah. That has been like the most helpful thing. Like when they're like, you need an email list and you need to be nurturing your people that have always been buying from you. And I was like, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
They're like, it's easier to sell to someone who already, like, and trust you than trying to find new people. And it's a lot cheaper. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
that's a really good point.
It's a lot cheaper. When I always bring the statistic up because it literally just blows my mind. Well, Chelsea, who we were talking about earlier, who's one of the head coaches over at Flourish and Thrive, and she coaches in all of our programs. She is a master at helping people like really deliver a great experience for their customers. And because of that, she has got an 89% return customer rate. And everyone who talks about her trainings and the things that she does are just blown away because it really does work. And if you think about the statistics, like many of you have probably heard this, but it's 10 times more expensive to find a new customer than it is to sell to an existing customer, because you don't have a customer acquisition cost. They already trust you. They love what you do and all these things, which makes it just like having the business and generating the revenue just so much easier, especially if you're leaning in to the tools that help you do that. Would you agree?
Oh, completely. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
looking at the numbers right before we did this, I was like, I've got I think it's 49% return.
You do. That's insane.
Uh-huh.
That is
Yeah. And
really
I
good.
just never like looked at that. I was like, oh, huh. Because
50% of almost 50% of your customers are repeat customers.
Mhm. And I now know, like, I literally can go, like, a mom will reach out, like, our mother-in-law will be like, I know my daughter really wants something. I don't know what it was. She kind of sent this on Instagram, but will it go with what she already has? And I can like immediately look up her order and see. And like, there's some customers that have ordered from me like 20 times.
Wow. All
And
for
they're not
themselves
even,
or like
like close friends. Like some of these people are in like California, and I had no idea
You're like,
until
I don't know
like,
who you are.
yeah. I mean, it's fun. Like it's, it's pretty cool to see once you know to start looking for that kind of stuff, which I never knew how. I didn't even know that any analytics existed in Shopify until I started taking classes from y'all. Like,
I love this. It's funny how people like come to these like crazy aha moments. I mean, this is not a crazy aha moment, but like when you start looking at the numbers, isn't it fun?
yes. I mean, it's a little scary because like in September, like I broke my leg and dislocated my
Oh
ankle and
no.
yeah, and the end of July on my birthday. And so like August is like always kind of a dead month. It's like I sell to the stores quickly and then it's everyone's back to school and they're not really like buying
Mhm.
it. And September is normally like a great month, but I was like still very much injured and not doing anything. And I looked at the sales and I was like, oh, there's a little bit of a dip because I didn't email my customers
Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
wasn't like on Instagram because I was, trying to rehab and all that kind of stuff. And then I like looked at October where I was like back to myself and like watched it grow again. So it was, I mean, it is fun and like it's so helpful. Like, and that's when I was like, okay, now I got to bust it. And like I said yes to a bunch of shows because Anna's like, that's a great way to build your email list and build trust because people will see you and you can
Yes.
find new customers who love and adore you. And so I've said yes to probably more than I should have, but
So are you doing a ton of shows through through the
I've
holidays?
never done this many shows, like ever. Like Anna like really put a fire under me.
So Anna is one of our other coaches, and she teaches all the things about really building a great experience at an in-person show. So
Yes.
how has that helped you, like the in-person show experience helped you grow your business and your brand?
Well, I mean, she's always said like never to sit down. And I've known that. Like, I mean, that was like the best, she showed pictures of like the one person sitting at their booth who didn't have anyone in it. And then the people who are like
Yeah,
up and showing and talking, and I've always noticed that at like the few shows I've always done. It's like kind of comical. And I'm like, why are you here? But she did say, she's like, if you want to get your email list, because it was one of the calls that we had where it was like question and answer. And I was like, I need like people on my email list. Like I need to grow it. She's like, you got to do in-person shows again. And actually, you need to follow what we talked about. Like, have you have iPad if you want, but you also need your clipboard with, get everyone to sign and you have them pay, and you hand them clipboard at the same time. And I was like, I never would have thought about that. That's genius. Like that's really hard to say no when you're signing out. You're like, and join my collective or my VIP list. Like as
exactly.
explain why and never call it an email list. That was another thing I had no idea. So,
Yep.
but
Join
yeah.
the VIP list and get special offers next time I have a promotion. I love it.
Yes.
It's so great. And she is like one of my favorite ways to build an email list outside of like social media. Obviously, running ads works if you have the right strategy, is really in person shows because I feel like people see you, and with the right strategy behind the list building and how you're communicating with your customers and how you're acting, being, and showing up in the booth, you can like really, like we had another student on this podcast. She did a show and got 200 new email list subscribers. Like that's just like literally such an insane amount of like no one's going to get that, like just putting something out there. Like usually people get like 5 a week.
So every show I've gotten at least 20 to 50 new emails. Just
That's
and some
amazing.
have already have been friends or have bought from me before, just never joined the list because I didn't really have a list to join.
So great.
So, and they're excited about it. I can't wait. They're like, really? I'll be the first to know. And I was like, yes, like you'll get the email. And if you get text messages, you're really gonna know. Like you're not gonna just ignore the text. And they're like, that's so true. And I was like, yep.
I love SMS
So, and
marketing.
they've a lot of them get sales first and then the stuff sells out, which is awesome. And they're like, it's because a lot of it's like one of a kind.
Have you noticed an increased conversion from your SMS marketing? Like, are you tracking how many sales come from that?
Yes. And I've gotten like a good bit, but it's funny, like they look at it, but they don't go, sometimes they go straight to the website and buy, but sometimes it like lingers and then they'll buy later. They'll like go back on the website
Yeah.
and buy later. But yes, I've noticed definitely, like, I mean, I've had friends who are like, oh, I saw that drop and immediately went and got that because I knew I wanted that, and I knew you probably only had like two. Because and I'll say that, like this collection, they're like onesies and twosies. So
That's
it's
perfect.
worked. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
amazing. Like I had no idea. I mean, there's sometimes like I wish it would like work better, but I'm also like new to it. Like, and I don't know exactly if I'm putting the right thing out there, like whether you put a picture or a graphic or, and then I don't know, or you're bugging them too much. Like 12 days of Christmas, I'm like, this seems like a lot, but I don't know. We'll see.
Are you getting sales every
It's
day
all
on your
new.
12 days of Christmas?
Yes, yes. Well, like, but some people are following it, some aren't, but yes, the sales are coming in for sure. It's been really good. It's all been like super helpful to like kind of know what I'm actually doing instead of just like winging it for the most part. And I still
Yeah.
am to an extent because it all is so new, but yes. No, it's like it's just been like an amazing, way to figure out how to like really run a jewelry business because no one really teaches you this unless you,
Yeah.
and I've never taken a business class coming from art school. Like,
Well,
and
that's a
this
good
is,
segue into this because you took our Laying the Foundation program, and you've also participated in another program that we offer called Train Your Customers to Buy From You Online. And now you're currently in our Momentum program. So I wanted to just ask you, you started with Laying the Foundation. Why did you decide to join Laying the Foundation at that time?
so I had decided that I really wanted to make more money this year and like really get more organized. I was one of those things that like my son has dyslexia and no working memory and is ADHD. And COVID was like, he hit it right at the point where he's supposed to learn how to read, and he's still not reading and is in fourth grade. And so now he's like in a school that's one-on-one. And like, and I just don't know what the future is going to hold. And so I want to be able to like
Mhm.
be able to send him to the best school to get him reading and where he's supposed to be on level for fourth grade. And I knew I had to bust it and like really treat it like a business and like figure out all the numbers instead of, running it as a hobby, more or less is like what I was doing. And so and I was like, I don't know how to do this. And then the Instagram ad popped up and I was like, this is amazing. Like, I'm going to do this challenge. And then like the more I did and the more like I learned and started like implementing, I was like, okay, so this is legit. This isn't just one of your like,
Yeah.
classes you randomly take. Like this is actually working. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna lay it out there and do laying the foundation. Like I'm gonna trust this. And it was amazing. It helped so much. And then I did, it was so helpful. I was like, I need more. Like I need more, I need accountability. I need people like making me do this because otherwise I won't do it. I'll just kind of put it on the back burner. And so I did TYC right after to like keep the
Mhm.
momentum going and then finished that, did it again and finished that one. And I was like, I still need all the help I can get.
I love
Uh,
it. You're
and
all
it's
in.
just the accountability and being able to bounce questions off and ideas. And like, I don't really have anyone else to do that. Like as a solo business person, I mean, I have my friends who like come in and work with me and like I can bounce ideas off of them. But as far as like business strategies and stuff go, like I don't have anyone. It's not like my
Yeah.
husband who like, goes to all these, dinners and signs up for all these things at like board meeting, all that kind of stuff where they can sit there and bounce ideas off of each other and like, go back and forth, what's working, what's not. Like you don't have that typically as a solo entrepreneur, I feel like. Or I didn't know it
No.
existed, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought this up because the accountability is like one of the biggest benefits of joining any of our programs, but and especially our higher tier programs where you're getting like a lot of one-on-one coaching and individualized feedback. What I wanted to mention about that too is like one of the reasons why we actually started, and I say we because I co-founded this company many years ago. Why we started Flourish and Thrive Academy back in 2012 was because there was no place for jewelry business owners to go, and there weren't masterminds out there, or there wasn't like online forums and community and stuff like that. And it was frustrating to me when I was starting out because I would go and have like friends who are like handbag designers or they're making knit sweaters and they're like, oh, go and try and pitch this store. But the store never carried jewelry, or like the introductions that they could give me were not ones that were really relevant to my business. And no matter what, the unique challenges that a jewelry business owner has is very different than someone with another physical product. And so, and as much as product-based business owners would benefit from everything that we teach, I don't know that it goes the other way around because jewelry is so different than other types of physical products. So I'm glad that you said that, because the fact that you're getting so much accountability and you feel like you have a place to go ask your questions means that we're doing our job well, because that's the whole reason why we started this whole thing.
I mean, for sure. It's like literally, because when you can listen to one of the classes and then you have like your office hours where you just go and ask the questions, and you can choose to show up or not show up. But I mean, everyone's in there asking questions and trying to get it, what they just learned to work. And
Mhm.
it's fascinating. Like someone will bring something up and I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about it that way. Or, there's just all these different tips and tricks that like without this class, you would have no idea. Like SEO, another like that was from laying the foundation, blew my mind. Had no idea that was like a thing and like needed to happen. Didn't even know what the words meant. Like I like got to that
Hobbyist.
one and I was like, wait, what? This is like a whole nother layer. Like, are you kidding? Like
That's so
still
great.
working on that one. And Pinterest was another like one that it's like that back burner that like keeps feeding your growth that you have no idea. You post it and it just keeps growing and you don't have to nurture it or anything. It just does it on its own. And I finally went back and looked at those analytics, mind blowing.
Yeah,
Like it was way higher than I ever would have thought. And I like barely use it. Like that's, that and SEO are like my goal for 2024 is to, figure that out and like really nail that down. Cause I think there's a ton of growth in that for sure.
100%. And speaking of Pinterest and SEO, I want to just ask you, like, what were some of your favorite parts of the Laying the Foundation program?
I think Anna's was huge. And that was like the live selling. That was like
Mhm.
big, like learning how to like really live sell properly and well.
Mhm.
You try not to let anyone out of your booth without getting their email. Like that was huge. I had no idea that you could do that. And like I've always been terrified to ask for emails. The other thing was when they said to set up an email flow and actually email, well, you can email once a day, but you need to be emailing at least 4 times a week. If not, and then which I was like, that's terrifying. Like people don't want to hear from me that much. And then you're like, no, they signed up for your list for a reason. They do want to hear from you. Like they want to know what's going on and know what you're selling. So that was huge. I'm trying to Pinterest was like mind blowing. That one really was. I was like, I kind of thought Pinterest was dead. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's
or it
like
was
literally you put a pin up and it lasts for years. It's amazing.
yes, no, and that was the thing. Like I looked from stuff that like when Pinterest was like fun and I was trying to do like my kids' rooms and was adding my own jewelry while, searching on stuff at the same time. People were still liking and reposting and sending and like going to my website just from all those old like posts that I can't even begin to make that stuff anymore. Like when they've been buying stuff from me and I didn't even know it.
That's amazing. I love that. So, what kind of results have you experienced since joining the Laying the Foundation program?
I have way more confidence in what I'm doing and selling just to people, like whether it's in-person shows or sending out email or, just I've gotten more sales. I have more customers who are coming back. I've always had customers who come back, but like I feel like I have even more than I have before.
Yeah, you said earlier 49% return customer rate, which is great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, and I think it's and everyone's like all of my friends really are like you're really running this as like a true business now. Like they can see a difference. They love seeing the emails, they love seeing the text. They've been really encouraging as well. It's just I've gotten more sales than I have. It's encouraged me to do all the in-person shows, which is so fun. I love doing them. And it really is the best way I feel like to get customers to know, like, and trust you quickly. and like really see everything you have to offer. Cause like I have been doing, all kinds of jewelry, but mainly, your statement fun fashion jewelry. But I've dabbled in like the pave diamonds and 14K. And like half these people like didn't even know I did that until they like showed up to one of the shows I did. They're like, wait, you do this? I was like, I do. And they're like, oh my
Wow.
gosh, why have I been buying from other people? I didn't even know. And I was like, well, it's on the website. And they're like, I know, but I didn't even like go to click on that. It's like, so it's that kind of stuff. I feel like that has been just encouraged me to get out there more and trust myself, and that I will find the right customers who want to shop with me. And not everyone is for me. And like that is something that I always worried about, is that I felt like I had to, like if I lost a follower on Instagram, I was like devastated. I was like, wait, but you're like, you're supposed to lose those followers. You're not for everybody. You're not supposed to be for everybody.
Yeah.
That's not the way you're supposed to run this. And so that has been like amazingly helpful, just knowing that. Like now when I see it, I'm like, oh well, they're not my people, kind of thing. Where before it would like drive me nuts. So
And you're like taking it personally when it really has nothing to
yes.
do with
Oh my
you.
gosh. I'd be like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I can't believe, like, do they not like me? Am I bothering them too much? Like, do they not like the new collection? Just all those things. And like in Chelsea said, talking about collections, we were, you launch a collection, which I've always kind of done, and like post it. And then like, I feel like once I posted it once, I can't repost it. And Chelsea's like, like almost all of your followers probably never even saw that post. You need to repost it again,
Oh yeah.
post it stories. Like it's not tired. Most people even missed it the first time. And so that was another thing. Like I thought once it's posted once, like it's dead. Like you have to keep coming up with new stuff. And that has been really refreshing to not have to feel like that
I
all
bet.
the time, to keep pushing the same stuff. So
Exactly. That's amazing. And I'm so happy for you with all these changes and shifts. Did you have any hesitations joining the program before you signed up?
I mean, I was a little nervous that I wouldn't be able to fulfill like the time commitment, but like, cause laying the foundation, once we had like the initial call, it was kind of like, you go through this at your own speed. So that made me feel better. And y'all were like, you have it forever. It's
Yeah.
not going away. It'll always be there. So you can come back, you can take your time. But I knew I wanted to like get through it, to like start figuring out what I'm doing wrong and start doing it correctly. So I tried to go through it as faster. I don't think I did it as fast as some of the people, but I tried. And like I would listen, I'd be cooking dinner at night and have my AirPods on and be on a class call. And my kid's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm on a class. Like, you can't talk to me right now. Like,
Like, leave me alone.
I was like, I'm making dinner and I'm on my class. Like, what is your class about this time? And I was like, organization. And my daughter was like, you really need that, mom. You might need to listen to that one again.
That is hilarious. I love it. So how would you said that time was kind of an issue. Like what were some of the things that you did to like help maximize the time that you had to consume the content?
So when I was working in the studio, I would listen to a lot of them, and I would have like my notepad, and it
Mhm.
was not efficient. Like if I had to do this all over again, I'd probably have sticky notes
Yeah.
as well as my notepad. I didn't learn about that until later. That was like a neat little trick that I learned
Yeah.
like a month ago. I was like, this would have been helpful in the beginning. But no, I would just take notes I'd pause, take notes, and then, that was in the studio. I'd be in the car, like in the carpool line or whatnot, and listen as well and take notes and all that kind of stuff. And then I typically would set up like an hour or two to try to like implement what I had just learned, to like, the best that I could, get the kids off to school and then come home and like really try to like get into it before I got into the studio or did laundry or did anything else. Because I did learn like time blocking, but I'm still not perfect at it. That's kind of why I signed up for Momentum, is to really like nail that one down.
All a work in progress, right?
It's very much a work in progress. And then I guess the other thing is, while I was walking the dog, I would listen to the classes or re-listen and like get,
Yeah.
tidbits and nuggets. And then like, cause I could pause it, go to my notes on my phone and, to-do list or what, or like I've got notes all over my phone, like email, SMS,
Yep.
organization, all that kind of stuff, or, live shows, all that. And like, especially the live shows one, like Aunt Anna gives you like a list. And like, so I was like, I don't want to forget these certain things when I go to the live shows and what to ask. And before I started the live shows this year, I would re-listen to that one over and over again to remember what to ask, what to say, pump myself up for the
Yep.
shows, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's been so helpful. And like laying the foundation is great because you really can listen to them wherever, whenever, as long as, you don't have like your kids running around in the background. And even then you just put your pods in and let them chill.
I love it. That's amazing. So, one more question. What would you say to someone who is on the fence or thinking about joining Laying the Foundation?
Oh, I've already told like 3 jewelry designers at the shows that I've been with that they have to do it. This one woman who I've been doing shows with, and I used to ask her for advice all the time. And she came up to me at this last show and she goes, "What are you doing? How are you doing this? Like everyone is at your booth. You have a full email list." And I was like, "Betsy, I took this class. You've got to take it." And she's like, "You really did one of those Instagram classes?" I was like, "I did. And I promise you, it's the best thing I've ever done." I was like, "You've got to do it. Go listen to all of her podcasts. Like you can totally trust her." It's just, it 100% is well worth every penny. I think, especially if you're like me and you've never taken a business class. Like it's just, which a lot of us haven't. And even if you have, you don't know like the jewelry side of it. And y'all can answer so many questions that like that are always changing too. Like
Yes.
Instagram used to be the way to do it. And now like it's definitely email. And I don't know, it's just different. So I think if you're on the fence, have no hesitation, just do it. You will get every time I sign up for your classes, I've already gotten the money back within like 2 weeks.
I
So
love that.
that fast cash strategies is like amazing.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you implemented that. Yay!
Yeah, I did that with everyone I've done. Like it's throw up an Instagram, like an Insta story sale and like you knock it out of the park or do a live or, something and you
Just to
always
make
make
the
your money
investment
back.
back. Yep.
Yeah,
So great.
for sure.
Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Audrey Allman Designs or website, which is www.audreyallmandesigns.com. And I'm on Pinterest and Facebook, LinkedIn, even TikTok. That one's interesting and fun.
You're so cute.
I told my daughter I joined TikTok. She's like, "You did what? Why?" And I was like, "My class told me I should experiment with this." So here we are. Nothing's gone viral, but I've had like, 50 people go look at my site from it. I don't know if they bought anything, but it's out there.
It's a work in progress, which is,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love that. Audrey, thank you so much for being here today. I so appreciate you.
No, this has been so fun. Thanks so much for having me. Y'all have been so amazing.
Thank you so much for watching the show today. This is Tracy Matthews signing off until next time. But before I do, I wanted to remind you that if you're someone who wants to take your hobby and turn it into a successful, thriving business, why don't you join me and 9,000 other jewelry business owners who have launched successful 5, 6, and 7-figure businesses using my methodology and join me for my game-changing program, Laying the Foundation. Laying the Foundation is my 12-week signature program that's designed to help you get consistent, predictable sales in your business because we're helping you learn the fundamentals of branding and marketing so that you attract the right customers, so that you can speak their language, so that you can price and product properly for profit. Also, so you build a business that is based on my system of repeat cycled sales. And that is the best thing and the best part of it. Additionally, we're going to help you build systems in your business so you don't have to be the doer of all things and work 24/7 as a solo maker. So if you're interested in learning more, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/LTF and check out the program today. Ciao for now.